Good morning, beautiful people. I pray that you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Just leaving you with a quick positive thought. Acceptance is the first step in recovery. I remember when I was afraid to look at the scale. I remember waking up choking because I couldn't breathe. I remember being afraid to look in the mirror. I remember drowning myself in sadness, depression, anxiety, and fear because I did not want to face my problems. And I used food as a way to escape. And I also used to drink alcohol. And I almost became an alcoholic, and I almost died from obesity. I'm saying these things on today because we have to accept our faults in this life. We have to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and say, I need to change this particular thing. And what helped me change is knowing that the Heavenly Father loved me, knowing that He saw worth in me, He saw strength in me, He saw courage in me, He saw motivation in me. So if I was getting affirmation from the Heavenly Father, I understood that I would eventually be able to embrace and accept myself. The Lord essentially was my GPS. He navigated me out of a very dark place in life. But it was me who had to make the decision to change. I had to decide that I was not going to let life live me, but I was going to live my life. And, one day I did eventually face myself in the mirror, and I saw that I was 85 pounds. And I saw how hard it was for me to walk. I saw how hard it was for me to be around people because I had a lot of social anxiety because of my weight. But then I said to myself, if I don't change, if I don't take this opportunity, what will become of me in 2 years? What will become of me in 10 years? Will I even be here? That's how serious life is, people. So if you have something that you're struggling with in your life, it may not be obesity. It may be something different. It could be a sexual sin. It could be alcohol. It could be, a temper that you're dealing with. All I'm saying is be willing to face yourself. Be willing to face your issues and take them head on. There's nothing wrong with seeking out counseling. There's nothing wrong with going to church. There's nothing wrong with getting into the gym. There's nothing wrong with finding someone who can help you figure out a plan to recovery. We are all on the road to recovery. Every single last one of us. Recovery means something different for everyone. But how can you recover if you don't accept the fact that you have a problem? How can you recover? An alcoholic can't recover if he doesn't believe he's an alcoholic. A sex addict can't recover if they don't believe they have a problem with sex. How can you recover if you don't face yourself? What will become of you if you don't face yourself? Now, you don't have to face yourself alone because the Heavenly Father is with you. All you have to do is cry out, and like a GPS, He will direct your path. I am a completely different person than I was. I was always sweet. I was always kind. But I had a tremendous fear, had a tremendous anxiety. It was funny because I didn't like being around people, and I didn't like having all eyes on me because I would always assume people would think the worst of me because of how I looked. But then the Lord spoke to me and He says, daughter, you're not obese. You're not stupid. You're not ignorant. You're not depressed. You're not fearful. You're not anxious. You're my child. Read my word. Discover what I say about you, and I will give you the tools for you to navigate out of these situations that you've allowed yourself to go into because of sin, essentially because of sin. And I used to have a victim mentality. Now I have a victor mentality. It's a big difference. My life is completely different because my perception of people, places, and things are different. I no longer go in places and go in with the mentality of having an underdog or having a less than or I'm not worth it mentality. I know who I am and I know whom I come from. It's as simple as that, people. All I'm saying to you on this beautiful, bright day, that life is beautiful, that there is life after accepting what problems you have. You have to deal with yourself. It's just a part of life. If you want to get better, if you want to succeed, if you want to be successful, and if you just want to be the best you, embrace our Heavenly Father, and He will guide you and put you on the correct path where you can shed those problems, those anxieties, those fears through His Word and also through counseling. There are several ways for you to have a better perspective of your life, but you have to seek Him first, and you have to believe that you are better than that situation. If I always looked at myself and if I always said, oh, I'm just a fat person, oh, I'm just obese. These were a lot of terms that I took on were terms that people told me. When I gravitated to things at a young age, when I was a child, and I remember when I was even 3 years old, I was walking through a hospital with my mother, and a man said to me, a little child, I had shorts on at the time, he said, oh, that's a fat little girl. I never forgot that. That stayed with me, and that insecurity about my weight. And I felt like it was just something that I would never overcome. But the Lord stepped in. He was always there, but I embraced Him. And because I embraced Him, my mindset changed. My life changed. The way I lived changed. Everything about me changed. And no, things didn't happen in a flash. I don't want to sell you a dream because that's not true. It's been a long, hard road. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. But all I'm telling you is that it's doable. It's doable. The first step to recovery, the first step in recovery is acceptance. Please remember that, and please know that there's always a way out of every problem, every circumstance, every situation. Seek the Father, seek help, seek counseling. There's a way out. You have a beautiful life ahead of you. Embrace it and believe it. Blessings.